sans doute l'usine où on fabrique l'électricité pour le rocher de Gibraltar. On voit la fumée sortir. Bon, écoutez, il y a beaucoup de soleil. Là-bas, si vous voyez au loin, comme au deuxième niveau, là-bas, ce sont des montagnes qui sont au Maroc. On est de l'autre côté du bateau, du côté de l'Espagne. Et ça, c'est la baie. Où nous sommes. Les éoliennes.
Very much as a result of the fact that throughout Gibraltar's history there's been a very strict green environmental charter in place, and as you are observing, no forms of construction developments has ever been allowed, permitted on that side, thus preserving it in such natural manner. Now thereafter, and by way of all this new land creation, building, and much more importantly, all of these new, some of you might have heard about. And the battle in question was the Battle of Gibraltar. It actually took place very close here to Gibraltar in 1805 and consisted of an Anglo-Dutch fleet under the command of Lord Admiral Nelson fighting off the French and Spanish. And even though the Anglo-Dutch fleet were victorious over the French and Spanish, suffered many casualties, many casualties, not least and including, unfortunately, Lord Admiral Nelson himself. In question were actually brought ashore and they were laid to rest in a commemorative cemetery which we're just about to drive up towards as we come up the hill here. At the top, I'll be pointing out to you the actual cemetery, the Holland cemetery. On the city port that you're observing right across over there is Spain, and that town, the city port there in the middle, is called Algeciras. And apart from being one of the most important commercial container ports in Europe nowadays, it also offers a very important and vital passenger ferry link for people wishing to travel from that part of Europe, that part of Spain, over to North Africa, which is at the back there. Now also, as we commence our journey through the Upper Rock Nature Reserve, from time to time at random, like just below here on our right hand side, you are able to observe these black steel and iron rings embedded into the actual rock. Well, you must understand that many years ago, The only means of transporting guns and ammunition through the upper rock was by way of chain pulling. So at times it could take a good part of 3 and even 5 days to get its own military positioning to any parts of the upper.
Oui. Hello. Okay, we're here for 20 minutes. Sorry, if I could have your attention, please. Okay, we're here for 20 minutes, okay? You're now free to leave the bus, okay? I'll be waiting just below here. There's a lay-by there, as you're noticing on the left-hand side. And like I said, you're more... Un Spitfire. C'est la Supermarine Spitfire. Spitfire.
Now folks, today this is used for conferences, 650 people sitting here, music going on, pretty much any damage. We have concerts going on here, team building.
I grew up in London, so as soon as I went to there, I came back to London. This is directly under the Rock Hotel. Eisenhower, they were initiated down into their war room to control operations.
Edge of War. Italian invade Albania. Hitler marche ses troupes en Autriche. Et une nouvelle menace de guerre apparaît en Europe. Ça a l'air qu'on va suivre.
The reason being, if you're going to be stuck in here,
Churchill.
Okay, that's why we need to visit as a building. There's even windows, yeah, on the side there you even have windows. Plus, if you've got any electrical equipment in here, you need to protect it. Because when it rains, the water comes through the rock. The rock is very porous. It's limestone, okay? This area itself is a platform. Goods would come in, they would be stored, and when they were needed, they were sent here. You go here, there's another area which we're going to do, but you get the idea. This in the 80s was used as a laser. There's a few things in its life, yeah? What I'm going to talk about here are the operations. Now, a few operations going on. Operation Felix. That is the German operation to take the idea of British. Okay? If they had taken the idea of British, they would have taken Gibraltar as well. So we needed a co-operation.
Tous les tunnels ont été rénovés il y a très peu de temps. Non, tout est nouveau. Donc, evacuation room, espionnage room, on va s'en aller dans cette direction. L'histoire du lieutenant-colonel Robert Allister A. Qui était responsable de toute l'ingénierie. Sapper John Gunn, un membre de la Royal Regiment of Artillery. The Sapper Suite. Canadian tunnelers in Gibraltar, qui étaient reconnus pour leur expertise du perçage avec des pointes de diamant. The Royal Canadian Engineers joined the Royal Engineer en 1940 pour continuer l'expansion des tunnels de Gibraltar.
Okay, this is the sapper route. Basically, sappers are royal engineers. It's another word for royal engineers. It was a conglomerate of engineers that formed, really, if you do your studies, they came over with William the Conqueror.
Donc l'histoire de Aida Fernandez qui a marié Charles Chambry, une évacuée de Gibraltar, mais qui a décidé de rester, de marier son fiancé. Et elle travaillait à la censure. Rear Admiral Sir Kenelm Crichton. Sister Larkin and Mr. and Mrs. Dahlia. The Gunners Gallery. Les munitions tirées par les différentes pièces d'artillerie. Une brosse pour nettoyer les... Je pense qu'on dit les fûts des canons.
So the concentration of 15 from 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 from
un brand gun, mitrailleuse souvent utilisée comme arme antiaérienne. L'histoire de la force de défense de Gibraltar, 1915-1939, 1958, la transition, la modernisation, 71, la présentation des couleurs.
One of my favourites though, with Army date on it, is this little plaque. It's really badly weathered. It says, sharing biscuits to survive. A room full of people call the world.
Oh là là! Donc les murs, les plafonds ont été recouverts de ciment giclé pour les consolider, éviter les chutes de rochers. Sauf ici, et on constate que lorsqu'il y a de la pluie, l'eau s'infiltre. Donc ça, ce sont des cavernes. Oui, des cavernes naturelles. Natural fault line. Une ligne de fracture naturelle. Ça devait être assez épouvantable. Les hommes qui couchaient ici. L'hôpital pour les blessés. Oh, c'est assez humide et frais. Fin de la guerre. Hitler est décédé. Dönitz le remplace. Donc, Gibraltar, un contributeur extrêmement important à l'effort de guerre à partir de septembre 1939 avec le premier ministre Neville Chamberlain qui a déclaré la guerre aux nazis. Des travaux dans les tunnels de Gibraltar. le V-Day, le jour de la victoire. Finalement, Kittel, le général en chef des forces opposées allemandes, a signé la paix, la fin des hostilités. Fait que là, on se rend compte que c'est énorme. Ah mon Dieu, là maintenant, il se prépare à affronter le Japon. Et incroyable. Donc, l'aéroport, la piste d'atterrissage, qui a été en partie, en réalité, construite avec les remblais provenant des tunnels.
As it is, this is one of the oldest residential areas here in Gibraltar. Actually building
La plus vieille église catholique
in the
de Gibraltar.
mid-1800s. From one end of the rock to the other. That is the Mediterranean Sea, and that part in particular, that one specifically leading up towards the Atlantic Ocean. And once we arrive at Europa Point, from there
On quitte Gibraltar en fin d'après-midi et on se dirige vers les Açores que nous atteindrons dans 2 jours. On voit présentement le détroit de Gibraltar que nous allons franchir demain. Les Açores sont une possession portugaise qui est située au large du Portugal, presque dans le milieu de l'Atlantique.